Shalom, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a live episode of Life with Sharon, Midday Motivation. It is Monday, May the 9th, 2022. And happy Mother's Day to those who celebrated Mother's Day this past weekend. I hope you enjoyed yourselves and had a great day. So again, it's Monday, May the 9th, 2022, and it's a great day to be alive and well. And I thank you for joining me again for another live episode of Life with Sharon, Midday Motivation. It is Entrepreneurs Week on Midday Motivation, all things entrepreneurs. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship. So those of you who are thinking about entering the world of entrepreneurship or who are already in the world of entrepreneurship, there's some information this week that will hopefully be able to help you along your journey with some tips that our entrepreneurs are going to be giving. And again, talking about some of the pitfalls to try to avoid and talking about the process of being an entrepreneur. And today, our guest is Latisa Alford, and she is the CEO and founder of Peace of Mind, Balance, and Body Works. And after I plug this channel, I will allow her to introduce herself so we can get into the heart of the matter of the show. But before we do, subscribe to the channel, like the page, share the feed, and click the notification bell so you'll be notified when we're on. And again, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and share the feed. Put any comments and questions you want on the feed, and hopefully we'll be able to answer any questions that you may have. And if you're watching from the Full Life Communications page, then I'll be able to, if you comment from those pages, I'll be able to see your comment and question. If you're commenting and question because you're watching on someone else's page because they shared it, which is fine, I just won't be able to see your questions or comments. So just want you to know I'm not ignoring you. It's just how the feed works. So welcome, Latisa. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me today.
I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day because I know you, as an entrepreneur, you are very busy setting your schedule. So can you tell the audience a little bit about your business and being an entrepreneur, what it is that you do?
Okay, so what it is that I do, I am a licensed massage therapist. I've had my license since August of 2014. What I do now is my concentration is mostly on pre-op and post-op care, and therapeutic care, and also handling pain, chronic pain. That's my specialty. That's what I do.
Wow, that sounds like a very daunting task to be able to help people physically with their pain without medication, without surgery. So it sounds like what you do is a very needed skill. And I would assume it's an art to that as well.
Absolutely. There's definitely an art to it. You have to definitely know the anatomical structure of the body. You have to know the 650 nerves. You have to know the connection, the insert, the origin of the muscles, and you have to know all the attachments, to avoid injury to your client.
So it sounds like basically you need to be a doctor. That's what it sounds like you are.
well, I tell you, with the extensive training and,
Yes.
the upkeep of my license, the CEUs that I have to constantly have to maintain that license. And then additional, because I'm so inquisitive when it comes to this body. It's so detailed. It's wired so wonderfully to be able to heal it. So, but it does need assistance, though.
Absolutely. So how long have you been in business as an entrepreneur?
So I've been in business since 2018. That was the establishment of Peace of Mind, Balance, and Body Works.
Okay. All right. And so since you started 2018, so that was a couple of years before this disease, we're going to call it a disease. This disease happened over the past couple of years. Share with the audience how it was to run the business before this disease and during. What were some of the differences? Because this thing took us came out of nowhere, and some of us struggled, who were entrepreneurs, depending on the business. So how did you fare pre and during?
So I felt like there definitely being a demand in the field, a lot more well, I would say unawareness. I would say in most people's cases, prior to being able to take care of themselves and noticing that there's some pain there, whether it be a physical or mental or emotional. So I do notice a difference. A lot of wear and tear, I would say, for me, being an entrepreneur, because I stayed on the road a lot, going house to house, business to business. And the competition is pretty tough out there. So there
Okay.
was a big difference.
Do you
And then
find,
afterwards,
no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
it became what I saw. I saw a shift afterwards. People became more interested. It became more of a one-on-one experience, and that's what I
Mm,
experienced in my business. Like, oh my goodness, I really need this. The stress of it all.
yeah.
Of going through this. We haven't been through this before, and also, it was introducing other issues that people didn't know that they had, that they wanted to settle on my table. So that's the difference.
Okay. And has it been more of a struggle during the past couple of years with gaining clientele, or there hasn't been really that much of a difference?
They
I'm
have
thinking
been
because of what you do with the, uh, uh, um, because you have to touch people,
right,
right? And
right,
during the pandemic, we're told to social distance, right?
right,
That's not good for your
right.
industry. But
Not
how did it work for you?
So it did not work for me. I could not touch anyone for their safety and for mine. It was difficult. However, pre-adventure, not knowing that this was going to happen, I had money saved. And that's what I would tell any entrepreneur, whether starting or being established. Make sure you keep some money placed aside, for things like this to carry you through, because me not being able to touch someone, it was difficult.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about some of the lessons that you've learned along the way, and especially those that might be able to help those people who are coming behind you, say they want to be entrepreneurs in your industry. What are
Hmm.
some of the lessons that you've learned along the way?
Okay, so I mean, the lessons that I've learned, first things first, and I mentioned it, is make sure you do your research in this industry, and make sure it's something that you want to do. Make sure you're passionate about it, because if not, it just is like any job. It could just be very mundane and very robotic. So if you don't love it, you know, whether the money is good or not, it's just not going to be a good profession for you at all. And then you also have to make sure that you're, a good communicator. You got to make sure you have good people skills, and those are the things that entrepreneurs should know coming after me.
Okay. And how about along the journey, some of the, say, highlights? What are some of the things that is just, it keeps you going? When you get up in the morning, it's like, yes, I want to continue to do this.
So the highlights in my business is I've met a lot of great clients, a lot of great people along the way. Also, a lot of great people in my industry that offered me a lot of knowledge. Different techniques, different things I can do financially, different things I can create to bring a different, stream of income also added to the business. So those are
Okay.
the highlights. And I really do just enjoy working with the body itself. It really is just a well-oiled machine. It just is dynamic.
It sounds fascinating. What are some of the services that you offer that maybe, say, mainstream, I'll use that word for lack of a better word, people may not know? So I get massages. Well, I haven't since the pandemic, but prior to this disease, um, I would get massages regularly. But I'm used to seeing the Swedish massage, the such and such. Are there some that you offer that aren't the run of the mill that people need to know about?
Yeah, I would say neuromuscular therapy. That is my specialty. That has to do with teaching the muscle how to live without pain, and it
Mm,
takes a skill. So if you have an injury, 17 years, I don't care how old it is, you can teach the muscle how to live without pain. That's one modality that's not really talked about. Sports therapy, dealing with more compression, more stretching, more realigning the body back, in position.
okay. Wow. I need to come see you.
And lymphatic drain. I mean, if I would say that it's one of the popular ones, but I would say
What is
it's
lymphatic drain?
lymphatic drain has to do with the lymph system. The lymph system is a system that, near your ears, by the throat, in the chest, and 70% of them are in between the thighs. However, this system does not pump itself. You have to manually pump the system. This system is to keep foreign substances out of the body, such as disease. Those
Okay.
who are, suffer autoimmune systems, they do not, they're supposed to be able to kick out something that's foreign in the body. However, they're like a police station, so they hold that foreign body instead of being able to flush it out. So if you suffer from autoimmune disease, you want to see someone that specializes in lymphatic drain to flush out those foreign substances.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
So that helps with weight loss.
It helps with weight loss. It helps with cellulite. It helps with edema. It helps for
Hmm.
people who have had cancer or right now currently going through cancer.
Okay. So I guess there would be a lot of educating of the public with what it is that you do, because I would assume, and of course, correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of people aren't aware that they could get this done from a massage therapist, a one who's trained, let me say, in what it is that you do.
Right. Yeah, that is correct. The one who is trained and one who is knowledgeable of the body. This is not something where, you come on the table and, oh my goodness, she's going to, I always use the term just pouring oil, pouring lotion. That's not
Right,
what we do on the table, or that's not what we're supposed to do on the table. You're supposed to be educated enough to be able to inform your client how to take care of themselves, how to live pain free, and even if if pain free, let me not say pain free because that's a bit of a fetch, it's
right,
promising. So let's say coping with having less pain and being
right.
able to teach the client to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I would, I don't know anyone who, professionally or personally, who's actually gone to a person, a professional such as yourself, for that particular service. So that, but that would, I would think that people, if they really knew about it, that your phone will be blowing up, because I know a lot of people who could benefit from that service, but I don't know anyone, again, personally or professionally, who's taken advantage of that service.
Right. And it's like, I would say going to the doctors. When you go to the doctors, you get your 15-minute time. You want to sit down with your doctor for consultation. And that's what I
Right,
do. You want to sit, you want to know that doctor is going to treat me for a cold. What are you prescribing me? How long am I going to have this cold? And if the symptoms don't go away, what's the next step? And that's what,
right.
you do.
So I'm thinking that doctors, medical doctors, and you let me know if this is an area that needs to be improved, because I'm just basing it on what I'm hearing you saying and what I know and don't know, right? I'm thinking that doctors, medical doctors, need to inform their patients about services that you offer, or people who are trained in what it is that you do. And that could possibly, and again, this is where I need you to add some knowledge to what I'm saying,
Okay.
that could possibly prevent or assist with some of the things that they're going through. But are doctors even informed enough to know that you all exist? to do that, to then refer? Is there a gap between you and the doctors and nurses, the medical people who could refer to you in that way? Because it sounds like that the two of you, that the two entities need to come together and have referrals back and forth. How does that work?
So I would say that there's a gap. There's a
Okay.
gap. You know, in this industry of massage, it's seen as luxury.
Yes.
That's what it's seen as. It's not seen as a medical necessity, and that's
Hmm.
why we are not allowed to accept any medical insurance, which would be great for the public,
Right.
to be able to use their insurance and take advantage of that service. However, going back to saying that there's a gap, I believe that there, and the lack of communication, of course, not knowing that there are therapists like myself that can keep patients who do not want to have surgery from having it, or keep them from having further pain or injury.
Do the doctors even know that you all exist to that extent? Maybe some education on their part needs to happen. Like, hey, this is this whole group of people out here who could benefit, who your clients could benefit from. And, okay, medical, I'm gonna probably be a little cynical here, but the medical
Mhm.
profession, people are in business to make money, right? Hospitals and doctors are in business to make money.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's like the longer I can keep you sick, right? The longer then you'll keep coming
Well,
because I can treat
I
you.
you said it. I mean, in this era, a lot of medication is being given to mass pain,
Right.
and it's a big money maker. And
Yeah.
if I can push pills, if I can push surgery, rather than show you or educate how, because they'll lose money.
Right.
They'll
Right.
lose money.
True. And even in my industry, it's always said, therapy first, counseling therapy first, because if you can work on changing how you think and your behavior versus taking a pill, that's the best thing because that's the long-term solution,
Yes.
right? But, at least in America, we live in a society where take a pill first, everything else second, and that's really, it's a shame because whenever we can do something such as what you do and such as what I do, which could be a first stop, and then I don't need surgery, I don't need medication. Isn't that really the best way to live?
That's the
You
best way
know?
to live. That's the best way to live. To find someone that, such as yourself and such as myself, that will be able to prevent, because I see so many people that even after surgery, hey, Latisa, I'm still dealing with the same pain, prior to surgery, and now
Yeah.
I'm on, X amount of milligrams just to get me through my day. And that's just
Right.
not the way to live.
Yeah, we need a mindset shift as a nation,
Oh, yeah.
right, to move away from drugs,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, the pharmaceutical industry is so powerful, and their message, you know what I mean, is everywhere, and but you and I, it sounds like we have some work to do to get our message out. You know what I mean? That we can be a first stop, before other measures are taken to possibly negate having to go in that direction.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it sounds like we have some work to do in getting that message out. And I know
Yes.
you're already doing it, and I'm already doing it, but obviously, both of our industries, have to still be continue to be diligent and do more. So, one last question.
Okay.
So, the future of entrepreneurship as you see it in your industry, how
Mhm.
does it look?
I would say the future for us, I don't think it's some industry that's going to go out of style. However, with one eyebrow raised because of the replacement of all the tools, the robots, the introduction of these replacements for that human touch are coming, and I do
Yeah.
see it. It's a definite threat to the
Hmm.
industry, but how much really, help could they offer, without teaching these robots or new age modalities how to be personal and how to really
Hmm.
treat that individual. I don't know
Right.
if it was fair, but I know it's coming, and it does pose a threat
Okay.
to that one-on-one personal touch.
Right, right. And I don't think the robots will be able to go make house calls.
Well, I would say they would make house call, but I do definitely. I have seen it. I have
Hmm.
seen the future of
Yeah.
them replacing, the human,
Hmm.
person in these
Right.
rooms. With I
Yeah.
mean the chairs. I see the Theragun. I mean things that people can do
Hmm.
at home, which is fine. However,
Right. Right.
you know.
Nothing replaces the human being.
The human being, that human touch. So
Right.
that would be the only thing that I would see that would pose a threat, to this
Okay.
industry.
So you're going to hang in there no matter what
I'm gonna hang
and
in there.
maintain that personal touch and
Person,
relationship with your clientele. Is that
absolutely.
right?
That's right. That's what I intend to do.
All right. Awesome. So, Latisa, that is our time for today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Latisa, before we sign off, please give the audience your information, where they can contact you for your services, your social media, phone number, email, whatever you choose to give out.
So on my Instagram, peace of mind underscore bodyworks at Instagram.com. I'm also peace of mind balance and bodyworks of Facebook.com. And then my Gmail, I can be reached at Latisa Alford at gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today to kick off
You're
Entrepreneurs
welcome.
Week, Latisa. Thank
Thank
you. Thank you. And
you.
thank you for all you do. You do a wonderful job and a great and a needed work. So I appreciate you
Thank
doing
you.
what you do and coming on the show and letting the audience know, educating us and letting us know that you're out there
Yeah.
and doing what
Thank
you do.
you.
You're welcome. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, anytime. Just let me know. You got my number. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today for another episode of Life with Sharon Midday Motivation. This is Entrepreneurs Week. Tomorrow we have Dr. Tony Damon on. She went from entrepreneur business owner to educator, and she's going to talk about that transition tomorrow. Join us at 12:30 again for a live episode of Life with Sharon Midday Motivation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Latisa. God bless you all. Have a God day. Shalom.